Hello 108 students, Ms. McHugh here, back with you on section 3.5, and we are going to go ahead and take on page 2 of our class notes. Just want to make a mention here real quick, looking through the book. If you look on page 183, I love how the book has come up with what they call the input output function machine. Take a look at that. It's a great illustration up at the top that if you input a specific value for X, you crank along process, the machine cranks there, and it took Y equals 2X. So if you put 3 in for X, 2 times 3, the output would is Y, and you'd get a 6 comes out. Okay, so kind of use that visualization thing if you were cranking out. That will also help you with this idea of for every unique input you get one and only one unique output of Y. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on example 1 here, determining functions. Okay, now with that said, just keep in mind all you have to do now, they use capital F to represent function equal, there's your bracket, here's a set of ordered pairs with commas in between them, and they go, is this a function? Here's the secret, just look at the X coordinates, are they all unique? When you say yes to that, it is a function. Function, the answer would be yes. Okay, you could list them here: -1, -2, -3, and therefore it's a function. Now, they might mix it up a little bit. They might take those ordered pairs and put it in a Venn diagram with the domain on the left, the range on the right. Remember, that's the X values, that's the Y's, that's the input. There's the output. And when they draw the little arch with the arrows, that represents the ordered pair 1, 2. This is -2, 4, 3, -1. So is this a function looking at the Venn diagram? Yes, because it's the same representative ordered pairs. It's just a visual. If you ever see, I'm making this up, if you ever see 2 arches or 2 arrows coming from one input or domain, then it's not a function. As soon as you see 2 of them, then you know it's not a function if you have a visual. Okay, now up here in my corner, I forgot to mention, get used to parentheses, X comma Y. You always put the parentheses to represent an ordered pair. That also represents the input variable is X, input X, output Y, independent, dependent. Okay, the domain is always the X, and the range is Y. I know I've said this before, but you got to drill that into your head. Okay, so let's look at this example. What if you have the set H with the following order pairs, and they go, is this a function? And you're looking at it, your clue is to look at the X coordinates first. You see -2, you see -4, they're different, and then bam, what do you see again? -2, therefore not a function. Okay, you're done. You don't have to do any more than that. As soon as you find one instance of it, you can stop. Okay, you only need to have that happen one time. Now over here is the representation of that in the Venn diagram. So here's -2 going to 1, and then -2 going to 0, and then -4 going back up to -1. Now, is this a function? As soon as you see those 2 arrows coming from the same X or domain, then that right there is where you flag it and you say no. Now if you do a visual graphing these ordered pairs, notice the stacking feature that happens here. Here is -2, 0, here is -2, 1, and they are the same ordered pairs that failed as far as the input of -2 for X produced 2 outputs of Y's of 1 and 0. So you stack them up. If you ever see a stacking feature, that means it's not a function. If you see any two ordered pairs stacked up, not a function. Okay, so it's not too bad of a concept here. Objective number 3 says find the domain and the range. You want to remember the domain is on the X coordinate, all the input values. The range is the output. And so if they give you a list of ordered pairs again here, they go tell us what all the domain is, do it in a Venn diagram. So here we go. Look at the X's. Domain is the X's. 3, 4. Now you don't have to list 4 twice, and 6, so they listed them 3, 4, and 6. Remember, you do not have to do overlap. Next, the output was -1, 2, 5, and 8. This happened to be this happened to work in order, but make sure you put the numbers from smallest to largest when you list them here. That's how they like to see them. Smallest to largest, and then you use the arches and the arrows to represent the order pairs. 3, -1. Now here's 4, 2, and then right next to it is 4, 5, and boom. Question: is this a function? And the answer is, hopefully you're saying no, because you've got two of the same x coordinates, or the domain, or the independent variables, so you don't have it. Okay, so is this a function? We've already answered that. That's a big fat no. Hint: simply list all the x values of the domain, list all the y values. Okay, hey, we've done page 2. We're cruising here. I'll see you back on page 3. Okay, bye.